Hey guys, welcome to Ride Shine Detailing. I'm Serge Langendoen, this is Ronald Dijkshoorn and this is a new Ride My Vlog. So Ronald's here to help me with the motorcycle. I already do a lot of cars, but you know, motorcycle detailing is something different. You have to approach the motorcycle different than a car. And Ronald is going to explain something more about how to approach a detail on a motorcycle. So Ronald, nice to have you here. I already know you, of course, because he helps me a lot also with the cars. What's different on a motorcycle?
Well, first off, thanks for having me here. Yeah. It's always a pleasure to be here. There are a lot of things different on a motorbike compared to a car. Yeah. But why don't we just start the process and I'll take you step by step and explain every detail while we're at it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Just we go and start on a detail, wash the motorcycle, and then we'll get back with you with some information on how to approach this beautiful machine. So I've got the camera now in the vlog style because I want to go and look at what Ronald's doing, because he's removing all the suitcases on the motorcycle that we can clean them more easily and that we can get to every part that we need to clean, because there are so many corners on this bike that you just can't reach them if all the suitcases are on. So we're going to start with the first washing stages on the motorcycle, and we're going to approach this motorcycle different than a car, and Ronald's going to explain us something about how to approach the first washing stages. So Ronald, well, we've placed the motorcycle in the washing bay, and what are the first things that we need to keep in mind?
Well, the most important thing, make sure your bike is cold, especially the engine and around the exhaust. Because when we wash a bike properly, like you do here at Ride and Shine, we start with foaming, de-ironizing, and those products can give a chemical reaction onto very weak metals, like here at the manifold, when the material is hot. So make sure your bike is cold to begin with.
Yeah, so once again, because if you spray like the ionizer on the hot parts, then you'll get the chemical reaction, and then these parts really look very bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So normally I'm using the pressure washer on the cars, of course. You've seen that in a lot of other videos. But I think on this motorcycle we're not going to use the pressure washer, right?
No, it's just not necessary. It's a brand new bike, it's only driven a couple of miles. A pressure washer can do damage to a motorcycle, especially here around the brake system. Yeah. Even here around the electronics, starting mechanism, speakers, display, and of course the chain. This one is a cardan driven bike, but most bikes have a drive chain. Okay, and normally when a bike has a drive chain, what do you see? Then you'll see the chain. Yeah, you see a chain driven the rear wheel, and the chain has linkages, and inside those linkages are X-rings or O-rings or all different kind of types. Okay. And they can really be damaged by a high pressure washer. Yeah, so don't put a high pressure washer on top of the chain. Exactly. No, always avoid it. Yes, same for de-ironizing. Don't use a de-ironizing product directly onto the chain. Okay. Just tape it off and then work around it. Well, that's perfectly clear. So what's the first thing we're going to do right now? Foam the bike, just like you do with a car. Okay, so we're not going to rinse it first? No. With a normal, like with the hose? No, I would start with the foam directly. Okay. What foam does, it loosens the dirt and also picks up the dirt and just drip it or take it with it inside the foam, and it drips off the bike. So this is also really important because especially on all the painted parts, when the less dirt there is on the bike, the less scratches we're going to make with washing.
So this is the ionizing treatment. Of course, you've seen it a lot also on the cars. We're now going to do it on the bike. Do we need to take care of something before we just spray it on, or the whole bike is cold, so it doesn't really matter?
Just avoid spraying it directly onto the discs. That's what I really would advise you not to do.
Okay.
The other part you already told needs to be cold.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. So.
Okay. We took the motorcycle out of the washing bay and put her in the workshop. We're going to start the polishing stage, and Ronald is taping off all the sensitive parts. So the motorcycle is outside of the washing bay. We put it in the shop, and we're going to inspect the paint. If there are scratches or swirls, it's a brand new motorcycle, so I don't think we're gonna find a lot of swirls. We already taped off all the sensitive parts, so we're not going to hit it with our polishing pads and make damage on these parts. So let's inspect the paint. So here we are polishing the plastic parts. These are painted plastic parts. And Ronald, I think you need to be careful, right, with this kind of parts?
Yeah, Serge, that's absolutely true. There's a lot of plastic on a motorbike, painted plastic, and the paint on a motorbike is just incredibly thin. Yeah. Much thinner than on a car.
Okay.
Plastic will isolate the heat, so when you put a polisher onto the surface, you'll build up heat, of course, but the plastic will isolate it, so it heats up very quickly. Better to work on metal, but yeah, that's just a motorbike. A lot of plastic covers.
Yeah, metal of course glides heat, so if you polish like metal parts on the car, then the heat can go everywhere, and with plastic parts it's just centered at one point. So always make sure that when you polish these kind of parts that you don't use a rotary machine. Always use like the eccentric machines, also the hybrid and the Mini. It doesn't build up a lot of heat, so be careful with that and always think what you're doing. So the reason why I'm steam cleaning this motorcycle again is because with polishing you have a build-up with dust between the edges, so we have to remove all the dust and make sure that everything's really clean. Also after steam cleaning, because the steam cleaning also decreases the surface, but still needs wipe down with alcohol. So before we can coat anything on this motorcycle, we have to make sure it's really clean. Well, we're at the point that we're going to coat the bike. We did all the prep work, and of course now she's ready to be protected. We're going to do that with a spray coating, and Ronald is going to tell us something, because you know, I know how to coat, but especially on a bike I need to be sure that where I can or can't spray coatings. So Ronald, do I have to be aware of some things?
Well, obviously the parts we taped off. Around the saddle, side steps, handlebar, that's because you don't want to put a coating on a surface where you can lose grip. No. That's very important. Yeah. I see people coat tires or rubber. Please don't do that. You have a very small section of grip on the road, so stay away from that. Yeah. And the coating product itself, it needs to be heat resistant. That's very important. Yeah, and of course, just to get back on the saddle, if you like braking, I don't ride a motorcycle, but I'm just thinking about this. If you're on a motorcycle and you hit the brakes, you don't want to be the saddle to be, you know, really slippy. So because otherwise, I think you're just go over the steering wheel. Yeah, especially in cornering. Yeah, circuit tracks. That's what you want to avoid. Because you ride motorcycles, right? Sure. Yeah. That's where the passion came from. Yeah, he knows better. Well, you said something about the heat resistancy. Yeah, a motorbike doesn't have covered painted parts all over, so you've got a lot of naked parts outer covered. The engine is just completely out there. Yeah. Same with the exhaust system, the manifold. It's all open, and it's gonna be very hot, especially when you drive for a very long time. So there are a lot of coatings, which I see on videos, which are applied to an engine cover. Yeah. But when they can't resist the heat, it's all for nothing. So. Okay, well, for this case we're going to use Modesta BC-06, and the 06 is up to 1300 degrees of Celsius, so I think that should cover it. That should cover it. Yeah, that should cover it. Well, it's a spray application, so we're going to use some safety measurements, like a respirator, also safety glasses. Well, your health is also very important, so always make sure when you apply a coating, also on a car or whatsoever, also think on your health. So I forgot it also in the former videos. When I'm coating, I'm not always wearing a respirator, but from now on I'm going to wear a respirator when I'm coating, because safety for your health is really, really important.
Motorcycle detailing is just hard work. It's not so easy. You think, well, it's just a motorcycle, but it's really a lot of work. With all the hard to reach areas and of course the different sections on a motorcycle, it's not so easy. But this bike is really looking beautiful. After all the work we've done and of course coating with Modesta BC-06, he's fully protected. You can see the end result in just a moment.
If you want to see more about motorcycle detailing, you can go to my website. It's shinetogo.nl, or check Instagram or Facebook, where I try to upload as much as possible about motorbikes.
Yeah, make sure to follow this guy because he's really uploading some very nice content on some very nice bikes. Well, if you want to see more videos on our YouTube channel, you can do that over here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do that over here. Don't forget to hit the bell button, then you'll get a notification when a new video is uploaded. This is it. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.